Once upon a time, a bunch of guys got together with a crazy idea.
Usually, when a car maker turns one of its models into a race car, they have to add power.
The ZR-1 version of the Chevrolet Corvette has always stood for power and performance.
It's nice to know America still builds rockets.
Corvette, a name synonymous with American performance, has remained Chevrolet's poster child 7 decades deep into captivating the car community. Time and again, it's been Chevy's showcase for innovative, Europe-fighting performance design, spawning unique prototypes like the Mako Shark and birthing icons now immortalized in automotive history, such as the legendary L88 Corvette. These famed vets have pushed the envelope of domestic performance and design for generations. And in 1990, Chevrolet carried that king of the hill identity forward with the all-new C4 Corvette ZR-1, America's first budget supercar. This is its story. Laying the groundwork. The Corvette's engineering story took a bold turn with the introduction of the C4 in 1984. This fourth-generation model marked a dramatic evolution, leaving behind the classic Zora Arcus Duntov designed C3 Stingray style that had defined the 70s. The C4 was the brainchild of Chief Corvette designer Dave McClellan, who stepped in for Duntov during the late 70s. McClellan's mission was clear: create an all-new chassis wrapped in an aggressively modern design that matched the energy of the 80s. The C4 was packed with updates that screamed forward-thinking innovation. Digital gauges replaced traditional dials, while fiberglass bumpers were swapped out for slick, modern plastic ones. For the first time since 1957, Corvette returned to single headlights, and these weren't just any headlights. They popped up with dramatic flair. Another major revival? The convertible returned after an 11-year absence, accompanied by a fresh target top instead of the old-school T-top. But this radical redesign didn't come without hiccups. The release of the C4 was pushed back nearly 2 years thanks to engineering growing pains, with the biggest setback stemming from the exotic new frame design. Originally, Chevy envisioned the C4 with twin T-tops, removable roof panels separated by a central bar, offering structural rigidity along with open-air excitement, much like the C3 Corvette. However, mid-development, Chevrolet's general manager Lloyd Rieussès pivoted toward a sleeker, one-piece removable top that channeled the elegance of European models like the Ferrari 308 GTS and the Porsche 911 Targa. It was obvious the new C4 was gunning for Europe, and soon enough, the ZR-1 would follow through. To support this new design, Chevy re-engineered the car's structure with taller side rails and higher door sills to improve rigidity for the expected jump in performance. Early C4 models came equipped with a variety of 350 cubic inch V8s, but with most making less than 300 horsepower, they weren't exactly rocket ships. But let's be real, we're not here for the regular vets. We're here for the ZR-1. And its journey began in 1986, when General Motors acquired the Lotus Group. A Star is Born Chevrolet set out to build a truly performance-oriented Corvette, unlike anything the world had seen. In 1986, the Corvette division approached Lotus with a bold brief: create the world's fastest production car using the C4 platform as the foundation. The car was completely overhauled from the inside out. First, the weak 4-speed manual transmission was replaced with a stout ZF 6-speed gearbox. Second, a taller 3.3-to-1 rear gear was installed to help the car chase a top speed near 180 miles per hour. Third, Lotus contributed the FX3 Bilstein adjustable suspension, technology normally reserved for ultra-exotic cars, like the Porsche 959. The rear was widened to swallow 11-inch wheels wrapped in 315/35R17 tires, wild for the early 90s. Chevrolet revived the ZR-1 designation to honor the 1970 to 1972 high-performance package. But this time the name rode on the combined engineering might of Lotus and Chevy. GM knew they had something special. With the right power, this reborn ZR-1 could run roughly 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds and flirt with 180 miles per hour. But first, they had to find the heart to match the hardware. Chevrolet explored off-the-shelf ideas: a turbocharged V6 from the GMC Cyclone, or a new twin-turbo V8 projected to make over 400 horsepower. The problem? They weren't confident any available transmission could reliably handle the torque. With those options scrapped, GM's Lloyd Roos pushed for a dual overhead cam engine instead of a traditional pushrod V8, setting the stage for what came next. The ZR-1's LT5. This prompted GM to tap its newly acquired Lotus brand to design an all-new engine for the ZR-1, the LT5. Given the complexity of the design and its mostly all-aluminum construction, Chevrolet tasked the machining and assembly to the Performance Engines division of Mercury Marine in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It became the first and only Corvette production engine not built or designed in-house by Chevrolet. On paper, Lotus's LT5 was a 5.7-liter V8 that sounded like a typical 350 small block, but displacement was about the only thing it shared. Its key ingredients were an aluminum block and heads, 4 cams, and 32 valves, making the LT5 nothing short of spectacular. With a stout forged rotating assembly and 11-to-1 compression pistons, it screamed to a 7,200 RPM redline, cutting edge for the era and especially audacious for an American V8. The result was the ultimate American supercar. The C4 ZR-1 launched with 375 horsepower and 370 pound-feet of torque, later bumped to 405 horsepower and 385 pound-feet from 1993 to 1995. That muscle delivered the target 180 miles per hour top speed and a roughly 4.5 second 0 to 60, outgunning many European rivals. Out of the box, they were easy 12-second cars that handled like they were on rails. The ZR-1 even pushed car and driver to add a 5 to 60 miles per hour rolling start test. On paper, the Porsche 964-911 Turbo had the edge to 60, but in the real world, even with a slight roll, the 911 couldn't match the ZR-1. All that performance carried a hefty price. The ZR-1 option added over $32,000 to the C4's $36,000 base, making a 1994 ZR-1 just shy of $70,000. Even so, it was a bargain next to many competitors like the 911. Though, as ever, the Corvette lagged in interior quality, C4s leaned heavily on cheap plastics, and cars like the Porsche 911 were miles ahead inside. Following its 5-year production run that concluded in 1995, just 6,922 C4 ZR-1s were produced, and the iconic ZR-1 name was shelved again until the supercharged C6 Corvette ZR-1 arrived. Rumors even swirled that Lotus was developing a 475 horsepower LT5 for a ZR-2 model. However, a perfect storm of a high price tag, a softening economy, and GM's rapid improvements to its new pushrod V8, soon to be known as the LS, meant the ZR-2 never happened. Chevy did learn a lot from Lotus and the LT5, and much of the knowledge gained during LT5 development fed directly into the LS platform, which went on to be the workhorse of Chevy's performance and truck engines for decades. Another possible downfall of the ZR-1 was a trait almost as old as Chevrolet itself. While it was one of the best performance cars of its day, the designers chose to keep it looking as close to a base model Corvette as possible to preserve a sleeper vibe, and they fell short of making it truly distinct. Had it received a significantly wider body with a much different front and rear fascia, it might have captured more buyers' attention and helped justify the price delta beyond its rockstar performance. Even without that, the ZR-1 remains one of the most iconic American cars of the 90s and really ever made. It was the first time a road-going Corvette truly fought toe-to-toe with its European rivals and had them on their heels, laying the groundwork for future late-model Corvettes like the C6, C7, and soon-to-be C8 ZR-1. Prices on C4 ZR-1s are climbing rapidly today, and they're unlikely to get any cheaper. So if you're hunting a super unique classic that will stand the test of time and, honestly, always be cool, the C4 ZR-1 is an outstanding value. Thanks for riding along with us on this journey through Corvette history. The C4 ZR-1 proved that American engineering could stand shoulder to shoulder with Europe's best. Its legacy still echoes in the roar of modern Corvettes and the hearts of car lovers everywhere. For more rare machines and untold stories, subscribe to American Road Legends. Drop a like, share with fellow enthusiasts, and hit that bell so you never miss a gear-shifting moment. Until next time, keep the legend alive and the engine revving.